So if you want to get better at doing anything in your life, just add rhodiola to your routine and you'll experience some pretty cool benefits. Which are what exactly? So let's back up. Let's start at the beginning. So basically, traditionally, rhodiola is used to remedy something that can happen in our spirit, in our physical body, that's called asthenia. What is asthenia? Asthenia is physical weakness. It plays out like this. Let's say I have muscles, but I don't feel like I'm as strong as I ought to be, even if they're defined. Or maybe I'm complacent. I have no drive. I have no internal fire that wants me to further my life in any purposeful or meaningful way. I've become stuck in a rut. Or let's say I actually am furthering my life and I achieve some cool goal, some noble cause, but you know what? I don't care because I'm apathetic about it. Not really a big deal. I'm more like blah. I have no vim in my step. I have no mirth in my spirit. Common scenario. It plays out. It's not cool to be in that spot. Okay, so basically let's talk about some mechanics of our body. Real life scenario. You show up at work the day before, your colleague forgot to do some work or just didn't forget, he or she just didn't want to do it. So your boss comes up to you and says, hey, can you help your colleague out? Here's his work that he didn't do. Maybe you're a computer programmer, maybe you're an accountant. And your boss says, I need you to run that code or I need you to run those numbers. Plus do your normal work. And oh yeah, by the way, I have a meeting just before lunch. Can you have all that stuff done? Immediately in that moment, a magical, extraordinary molecule kicks in on your body. It's something physical that allows you potentially to accomplish this task. Or maybe you're a student and you show up to class and you know what, there's a pop quiz. Maybe you studied for it, maybe you didn't. Doesn't matter. But immediately in that moment, you have a magical, extraordinary molecule being activated in your body to accomplish its goal. Or maybe you're playing Dark Souls 3, you're at the final boss. Immediately when that gameplay starts, you have a magical molecule activated and being flooded throughout your bloodstream to allow you to accomplish that task. Now ideally, let's say for example, you actually get that code created or you actually run all those numbers. Let's say you actually answer and you didn't leave anything blank on that pop quiz. Let's say you actually defeated the big boss on Dark Souls 3. On that moment, when you realize your success, another extraordinary molecule should have been activated in your brain and it makes you feel, yes, I've done it. I've succeeded. I'm at peace. I feel satisfied in my work. Maybe I did great on that test, maybe I didn't, but I tried. I feel satisfied that I actually didn't leave anything blank. Yes, I got through. I helped my friend out at work. Plus I got my stuff done. Maybe my boss will give me a promotion. All that's going through my head. Yes, I got done. I defeated the final boss on Dark Souls 3. Now I can gloat to my friends. Just kidding about that part. There's no gloating here. Anyway, when we accomplish those tasks, we have to have a physical molecule that enables us to feel good. It goes beyond, not really beyond, but it's outside of the metaphysical. I'm not talking about emotions here, and I'm not talking about some spiritual principle. I'm talking we need some physical thing here to actually make us feel good. And what happens is when we feel good, that's a reward, and that substantiates our drive, which creates passion to accomplish some other noble cause. And then once we actually accomplish that, we should feel good. That physical extraordinary molecule over here should reward us so that we have more desire, passion, compulsion, vim, and mirth. Now, I'm talking about rhodiola here. Rhodiola specifically helps to balance these two extraordinary molecules. Extraordinary molecule over here that's actually called cortisol. This molecule over here is actually called serotonin. Now, second real life situation. What tends to be the case when we actually get all of that paperwork done or the code written before lunchtime, ideally we should understand our reward and calm down, and what happens is that serotonin, that reward, starts driving down that cortisol level. When we actually complete the test, we wipe our forehead and say yes. We take a deep breath in and out. We feel achievement from that serotonin, and cortisol levels should go down. When we defeat the final boss on Dark Souls 3, we get that achievement, cortisol levels go down. That is an awesome scenario, and that's kind of what Rhodiola helps achieve in us. But in real life, that doesn't happen. After we get that work, there's actually more work to do, so cortisol stays up and active. And you know what? We didn't even feel like rewarding ourselves for accomplishing that extraordinary feat. No serotonin was produced. In that test, you know what? I have 3 other tests to get to. Not only that, I need to get to work. Cortisol levels stay up. We get no reward for even probably doing a good job on that pop quiz. You know what? We just can't seem to beat this final boss in Dark Souls 3. I get no reward and cortisol levels stay up. What happens when cortisol levels stay up? Basically, our immune system stops functioning and our digestion stops functioning. Why does that even matter? Well, we have yeast, mold, fungus, parasites, bacteria constantly trying to attack your body. You're going to be how the scenario ends up, you're going to be that person in your office that gets sick first, and then you give it to everybody else from a weakened immune system, from high cortisol levels. Now, in your digestion, when your digestion goes kaput, you don't have the power to extract the amino acid tryptophan or to degrease those essential omega-3 fatty acids, or to pull out that vitamin B6 and create the physical components to manufacture serotonin. So your pure, raw content, the quantity of how much serotonin you actually have, starts to go down. So even if you try, yes, my cortisol levels were up, I accomplished my goal, but you know what, I feel a little bit good, but not really. And I accomplished my goal again, I feel a little bit good, but not really. Cortisol levels stay up. That comes from an incompetent digestive system. No more serotonin. This is an extraordinary molecule. You need to feel good when you actually do stuff, which is the accomplishment, the achievement of your goals, your noble causes. Not to mention, I said also, asthenia is physical weakness. If your digestion isn't really there, you're not going to have a strong body. Your bones aren't going to be strong. Nothing about you will have just a nice raw power and energy to be who you are, do what you want to do, and achieve your ultimate dreams. So this is where Rhodiola comes in. This is where we got so far. Rhodiola helps to instantly start balancing our extraordinary molecule, our cortisol level, to accomplish our goals, and instantly starts balancing our cortisol levels in a nice, easy way. How does it do that? Well, it just simply, it forces cortisol down more to an appropriate level. So we still have that drive. When things come into our life that requires cortisol to keep us focused and active, we still have that capability even with Rhodiola. And our immune system isn't driven down too much. We still have some immunity running around in the background as we're focused on something else, just in case a bug decides to attack us. And on the other side, on the flip side, there's no serotonin in Rhodiola. But it functions in the same way as an SSRI. What's an SSRI? A selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. What is that? Basically, it's a compound that tends to have an action on an enzyme in our brain called monoamine oxidase. What it does is it inhibits this enzyme called monoamine oxidase. What that means for you and me is that any serotonin that's happening naturally in our brain, it's going to be activated for longer, which helps to balance the ratio of these two extraordinary molecules, which plays out, I have a desire to accomplish my goal. You know what? I get success. I feel happy that I actually accomplished my goal. When serotonin is reinitiated, restored, feeds my desire again. I have a new goal. Ooh, you know what? I achieved it. Feeds my desire again. I have a new goal, and I can actually expand and do all kinds of things more. So when cortisol's down, my body is more healthy. I can physically do things. I can lift heavier weight. I can run faster. I can hold my breath longer. I can swim longer distances. I can fight that final boss on Dark Souls 3 instead of for 2 hours, for 3 hours. I have that stamina. That's all from Rhodiola. Now, I said at the beginning of this video, Rhodiola will basically, if you want to get anything done better, faster, quicker, Rhodiola is a great potential. Summarized in this, Rhodiola is going to help your digestive system become more competent if it's suppressed by Rhodiola. Rhodiola is going to help you not get sick so much if your immunity is suppressed from high cortisol levels. Also, if you have apathy about accomplishing your goals, that apathy is going to start going away because Rhodiola is going to kick in and help your serotonin be active for longer. But not only that, if you're that person that needs to remember names, dates, figures, data, what you just programmed, if you need that type of memory, Rhodiola likes to find and selectively protect our neurons from oxidative stress or free radical damage. Basically, it's an anti-inflammatory specifically for our brain. But it doesn't stop there. It goes one step further. That region that's responsible for our memory with the names, the dates, the figures, the calculations, that's our hippocampus. Rhodiola likes to stimulate stem cells in the hippocampal region, so it's getting the protection, the antioxidants, it's getting that protection from the free radical damage, but not only that, if there's any damage there, it's helping to stimulate new stem cell growth. There was one research article that said, possible cure for dementia. What's dementia? Well, basically you forget a lot of stuff. It used to be a common idea that as you get older, oh, you know what? You're just going to start forgetting the names of your grandkids. If his name is Josh, you're going to start calling him Zach, whatever. I don't want to say anything bad about that, but Rhodiola is awesome for its ability to help us remember things like that. Just the raw information that's not necessarily physical body movements, although I suspect it is. Side note, memory is, we have the data, the names, the dates, that's one part of memory, but we also have another part of our memory that's stored in separate places, and that's physical movement. It's like muscle memory. It's like you start playing the piano and then eventually you don't need to look at the keyboard anymore, you can just play. Or even if you're playing a video game, you know where all the buttons are, you don't have to look down. When you first start the video game, you have to memorize it. That's part of the raw data, but you also have to remember where to move your thumbs. That's another part of the memory. It's my suspicion that Rhodiola affects both. However, in the research, it only affects, so far, the stem cells in the hippocampus region. So names, dates, numbers, figures, codes, data, all that stuff is going to be enhanced. I just digressed a little bit there. I meant to actually end this video like 2 minutes ago, but anyway, I love Rhodiola. It tastes great. Me personally, I can tell you this for an absolute fact, and this is really, really cool. So I have to fly out of the country to get Rhodiola, okay? There's something called jet lag. You with me there? Rhodiola, before I had Rhodiola, I had jet lag. After Rhodiola, there is no such thing as jet lag. It'll blow your mind how cool it is, how quick your body is able to handle and deal with just the stress and the vicissitudes of life when you're flying on opposite sides of the world or doing anything that involves physical movement, activity. Where's my gate at? Any type of environment you find yourself in life, Rhodiola will help you out.